Hello, my name is David Hargreaves. I've been a member of the Social Democratic Party since the summer of 2023, and I'd like to introduce you to my policy suggestion, which is the People's Bank. In this presentation, I will argue that many of the problems we appear to face in society are illusory and can be solved by the People's Bank. Really, there is just one problem: money. By rethinking banking, most of our problems simply solve themselves. It is in the interaction of money, banking and houses that we find the answers. We start with some basic questions and observations which show how we must be missing something really simple and obvious in how we view economics. In the 70s, one wage earner could pay for the whole household. This is no longer the case. We need food banks, despite the fact there's enough food to fill the food banks. Many people cannot afford to buy a home, but many others can afford several, even though they are still borrowing the money to buy them. Some people are sleeping rough, while many houses in the Lake District, in Cornwall, in the Peak District are left empty. The machines are doing more and more of the work, while we are still working harder and harder and retiring later and later. Some of the best paid jobs in our society, i.e. hedge funds, bankers, financial engineers, never produce anything that anyone actually buys. The problem is we have become a society of wealth extraction, not wealth creation. You earn the money with productive work, but then landlords take the money when you pay your rent. Even when you get on the housing ladder, bankers take vast amounts of money in interest. And the harder you work, the more house prices go up, the more rents go up. Increasingly, we need two wage earners to pay for a home. But all that extra money means that rents go up and house prices go up. On the left, they want to help you with housing benefit. But if we're going to receive housing benefit, we have to pay taxes so the government can afford the housing benefit. On the right, they say, this money will trickle down. That means the more money the bankers and the landlords spend, the more money you get paid. But the more money you get paid, the more rents go up. And so it goes on. So what's the answer? How do we get rid of the landlords? How do we get rid of the bankers? And how do we get rid of this enormous transfer payment for no productive activity? The answer is the People's Bank. So what is the People's Bank? The People's Bank will be a state-operated bank that offers 100% mortgages to home buyers at base rates. It will also pay base rates on all savings. So there is no cost to the taxpayer. The interest paid on savings will be equal to the interest received on mortgages. In addition to the bank, the law would have to be changed so that we would abolish capital gains tax on second homes, so that the disincentivization for landlords to sell homes would be removed, and this would be replaced by a 5% per annum tax on second homes, so these homes would come onto the market and people would be able to buy them with the 100% mortgages that was on offer to people buying a home, not to people buying an investment, not to people buying a buy-to-let property or a second home to use 1 week a year, but just for people buying a home. So how much money will the People's Bank save you? At the moment, the gap between the mortgage rates and savings rates is on average 3.36%. The average house price is £290,000. So the cost, the money you're paying to the bankers, not the money you are paying off your mortgage with, but the money you're simply paying to the bankers, is £9,744. And that is every year. It might help to think about what the People's Bank actually looks like in a balance sheet type of way. Well, initially, you have no cash and no house. Your landlord has no cash but owns the house that you live in, the house that you're renting. After you buy the house, using a loan from the People's Bank, you'll have minus X pounds, because that's what you borrowed from the People's Bank to buy the house, and you will own the house. The landlord will have no house anymore, but will have plus X pounds, because that's what he has sold the house for. So the total money in the system before is 0 plus 0, which is nothing. The total money after is minus X plus X, which is nothing. The total houses before is one house. The total houses after is one house. So there is zero cost to the People's Bank. The house already exists. The housing crisis is not a housing crisis, it's just a banking crisis. It's almost really just a clerical error that we think we have a housing crisis when in fact we don't. We just need a People's Bank which facilitates the sale of houses from the landlord to the tenant, and that will solve the housing crisis. Just look at how much housing is currently costing you. 20 years of paying rent, followed by 25 years of paying off a mortgage. And even when you're paying off your mortgage, it's only the green bars that are the mortgage repayments. The orange bars are the bid offer spread charged by the bank. The People's Bank gives you real choices. You could have entirely paid off your mortgage by the age of 38. You could take a repayment holiday for 5 or 10 years while you have a young family. Or you could even just enjoy the early years of your life and then pay more of the mortgage off later on. But it gets even better. Let's consider the wider social implications of the People's Bank. The end of no-fault evictions. Mothers and fathers will have the financial flexibility to stay at home more when they have a young family. Huge increase in retirement savings. Generation rent simply abolished. Families will be able to put down roots. Financial security for all. Redundancy no longer means you lose your home. Cornwall and the Lake District will boom with early retirees. Banks will actually suffer a brain drain as scientists, mathematicians and engineers leave to fight disease or do other actually useful work. Credit crunches will become impossible as fractional reserve banking will be simply banned. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed that, and I very much look forward to working with other members over the next weeks and months as we develop this hopefully as a policy offering in the 2024 general election. Thank you very much.